Shalom, this is Mary Omni from the World Government House of King David, Holy Covenant Constitutional Enforcer. This is a Republic Notice. The title of this Republic Notice is called Blacks Beware of Internet as Weaponry for Blacks' Internal Piss War. Blacks beware of Internet as weaponry, internal piss war. What we think we have in front of a computer is advancements of modern technology. But like I'm telling you, there's no first black, because blacks like to black in America to do this and the first black in America to do that. That's part of a strategy of Satan for you not to know that you did everything anyway. You're the people of the mighty, you're the people of the sun. I mean, anything that was done on this earth, you did first anyway, anywhere else, okay? And by that same token, the trick is being used to be used as weaponry for blacks to express their internal war openly in front of the world so that they can be exploited by forces of darkness to see them and keep their mind programmed, okay? And don't believe that this internet technology is new either, because this is old, ancient technology also. Nothing you touch is new. I mean, you have convenience to it, but the convenience you have is also programming you, and is reinforcing you, and is MK altering you, and is distracting you from the kingdom to come. And a lot of you are not getting kingdom ready because you're sitting and using the weaponry of the internet as the internal war. Now, a lot of stuff is degrading the whole nation of Judah and black women on that. And while many times we have to answer to these character assassinations, just like I did in several of my videos, a lot of times blacks talk too much on the internet. And because a lot of them are so programmed to serve public mystery Babylon. For instance, I saw a site of a man, and I don't even know his name, John something. And it's a lot of blacks on his YouTube channel where he talking on where it's a Fox News station talking about this guy called Irritated Genie. And these blacks talking about Irritated Genie is talking about their distrust of black people, their distrust of blacks in government, there's distrust of this, how in the Pan-African, blacks don't call for the demise of other people. In other words, they are just spilling out their MK Ultra. And they supposed to be the intelligent ones, but they're spilling out their dislike of blacks in government because, see, their brains can't integrate blacks being in their own government or their own wealth and then calling for the demise of a people who have oppressed them 500 years, okay? Whether it's right or wrong in their minds, my point is, and I want all you to hear about, if you're not talking about the Constitution, God Almighty, the kingdom come, or the black infant, and if a lot of your conversation is other than that, then what you are doing is just using the internet as internal weaponry to war against yourselves, to war against the kingdom come, because all you're doing is serving corporate. If you're not using it as a tool for cohesiveness, pushing forth your holy covenant, protecting the black infant, and holding up God Almighty, and preparing for the kingdom, then you are part of the MK Ultra that is being used and distracted from the kingdom come so people can continue to exploit you, know how you're thinking, know how to move in on you. And people, a lot of you got your pictures all on Facebook. Do you know people can look at your faces and plot on you? Do you know it's wicked and dark principalities that can see you and you can't see them? Do you know that they can come where you are and you won't be able to see them? And you got your pictures all up on the internet. You used to have to be arrested to give this much information about you. That's how you know you're MK Ultra, because you're in a system of oppression that had to arrest you to find out this information. And some smart behind came up with Facebook that was part of a regime of those evil forces to make sure that they can find you, They can look in your eyes, your face, your nose, your features, know where you're at, know how you look. If they want to come and get you and you don't even see them coming, and I'm not talking about physically. Some of these spirits are dark on the earth now, and they don't have a physical body. They're unembodied spirits of evil, okay? This internet is a 666 beast, and a lot of you spend way too much time on it. You're not serving the widows and the orphans. You're going back and forth with calcified, pineal glands. And I know this because I'm not talking about just you. I'm talking about myself too. I may put in too much time in front of it. But one thing I know I'm doing is talking about the Constitution and trying to educate. If there was an underground railroad I can take to get my message out, I would have surely preferred that than the internet. And I was trying to do it that way, but I saw so many of us was just had our brain hooked into the internet, and you can be sure that your brain is being altered by the time and the amount of time you spend on that internet. Be assured of that. Be assured that them earpieces, them iPhones, this, that is the eye watching your ass. Okay, is the eye controlling your brain. All your iPads, iPhones, this, that, and the other. All this is meant to trap you, okay? All these are trappings. And if you don't know how to use these trappings to put forth the kingdom agenda of the kingdom come and a holy covenant, then you're MK Ultra, okay? See, that's why you have a Tommy Sotomayor on there. He's looking for MK Ultra people that he can influence, who are influenced by Satan, and he can get a Satan following to war and wage an internal war against the nation of Judah, the namesake. And it's a lot of Tommy Sotomayor's on there. You see these men, they're MK Ultra that's fighting the black women. You know, they are the enmity. They are the enmity of their own nation. And so, therefore, they are easy to exploit. See, Satan has them on there, and Satan is looking for them, and Satan knows where to find them when he goes to collect their souls, because they on Facebook too with a lot of their pictures and addresses. And a lot of these warring against the holy nation of Judah is going to be up for grabs. See, they're the up for grabs that Satan is going to be able to grab and know where they are to get them. And that's why the karma on the black man who war against the holy nation and his holy nation is going to come much sooner. See, because we're past the threshold of 12/21/2012. Satan is coming for souls, okay? And the King Jesus people, the ones who have the mark of King Jesus on them, they can't touch, they cannot devour. But those who fighting the nation in which King Jesus was born and waging war on the internet, Satan is going to have his pick of the litter of them. And he's going to know just where to find them. So you better beware of things you're saying on the internet. And a lot of blacks, I need to tell you this, a lot of you need to be quiet. Because the smarter you think you are in your ideals with black power and this and that and the other, because I hear some of you talking about black power. But when you see a black powerful person in office, you start your what we call boo niggerism. You start getting scared of black power. You start getting scared of a black woman in the White House. You start getting scared of a black man in the White House. You start getting scared of a black man in charge of some aspect of Homeland Security. You start getting scared when people start saying, I got to deal with this enemy and this the reality of this enemy. And then you spill all this fear of your MK Ultra all on the internet. Some of you need to keep your fear, your concerns to yourself, because whatever these black people in office is, they haven't had their foot in your ass for 500 years. And so, you complaining, but see, it's always been a whole bunch of whites and immigrants that held office on your resources, on your wealth, on your birthrights and land, and they had all these government positions, and they still put your ass in jail, and you never said nothing. But then you bring your MK Ultra ass on here and you have a problem with a black man or a black woman having a job and then working, saying things like irritated genie said on his website. If he's an irritated genie, then maybe he has more sense than you, okay? You know, he has more sense than your Pan-African movement that is still stuck in the 60s. It's time for a global King David movement. It's time for the new earth light of King David, the new earth light of King David Republic around the earth. Pan-African, them Africans don't know you. You need to stop all this perpetration of Africa and start calling yourself Judah and stop getting out of the way because people give you a name, or stop refusing to correct it. Once you learn the truth of who you are, start correcting the truth. You need to use this internet for this museum that's going up in Washington 2015 to petition to call it the Constitutional Black Judaism Museum, not the African American Museum. African ain't had nothing to do with that. You either call it the Constitutional American Museum or the Black Judaism Constitutional Museum. But they need to get that African American thing off, because African don't come before America on this land when our blood has been America for 500 years, constitutional America, and we're from the nation of Judea, okay? I mean, you're going to put our images, and later on historians going to think Africans did this instead of God's people. See, these are the things you need to be using the internet for. Correct the museum right now before it goes up in 2015 and tell them you don't want African on there. You understand that you're the Judah nation and that you're the Holy Covenant Constitutional Judah. So it has to be something about the Constitutional Judaism Black nation, okay? In there, not the African American for the convenient and the eardrums of everybody else. You know, you got to use this internet weaponry as a weapon against those who try to deny who you are in America, fighting for your constitutionality. It's okay you want to dig up everything you did in history, but let's come to now and let's put an equal weight into now, what's going on now with the Constitution, with this black woman being in the White House, and what's going to happen in 2016 and 2017. Let's use this weaponry of the internet to make sure we petition our government and petition them to let them know that we're alive and we're planning on taking over our airship wealth, okay? We're planning on moving in on our airship wealth. We refuse to keep on being governed by foreign and corporate interests. That's what you better use it for. But see, right now it's being used against you because it's being used for the internal piss war, which is the patriarchal indoctrination subjugation syndrome. You're spilling out all the subjugation and the syndrome of piss indoctrination of the patriarchal white man that has been governing you, and now you're spilling out all his weaponry he used against you, and you're using it against each other in a piss war. And meanwhile, black children are in foster home. And these states and foster care agencies need to be held accountable for children that they are taking that are non-consented to them by supreme contract. And they're non-consented for any and everybody to adopt by supreme contract. They're non-consented for anybody and everybody to foster by supreme contract. This is how we got to do it. We got to take a state and concentrate. Anybody could come up with a state and say, let's target this state. Let's target this child agency. Get behind me. Start with the A states. Anybody from Alabama want to target a child state agency taking black children without the constitutional supreme contract authority to do so. Okay? Things like that. Organization. Since you're on here, organize. In truth, we don't have time to fight each other too much because we got Armageddon going on. And therefore, we better turn this internet into our weapon, okay? This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom.